Hello all, and here with a summary for our Vampire Rebirth game, a Vampire the Masquerade system. So we opened up on the night the prince had summoned everyone. There was rumors that he was angry, and at midnight, after some feedings for some, everyone assembled. Once there, they watched the prince drag out Simon, a Tremere, which the prince claimed had breached the Masquerade, before destroying him on stage in front of everyone. This led to a number of people being very, very concerned with the situation. Then the prince went through one masquerade breach after the other that happened in the last 2 nights, his rage visible as he demanded to know who did what. Victoria was the first to volunteer of doing something. The prince brought her on stage, concern in her as the prince marched back and forth, continuing on. When no one else admitted to any of the crimes, he played a video showing Joey destroying one of the police officers' vehicles on tape and harming the police. With that, Joey was also brought up. The prince ripped off Victoria's arm, causing some harm to her, before nearly killing Joey with a single blow of it. The arm shattered and splintered into his body and tearing him open from the force of the strike. With that, Joey dropped into torpor, leaving the prince to walk off with Simon, but not before giving orders to some of the clans. The Malkavians were to discover the death of the police, and the gangrel to figure out what was going on with the cocaine. This led to some machinations. Estelle, her usually self, tried to convince some of the Ventru to wake Joey up, which they were working on. However, Marco, one of the ancilla of the Bourgeois, went up and woke Joey, telling him he had screwed up royally. With this, Arthur met up with the gangrel to try and figure out how they were going to figure out the death of the police. Arthur had suggested Jack was very good at this, and the gangrel trusted him to figure that out while they spread out among the kindred to find out more information about these dead police. Estelle hooked up with Louisa in hopes to figure out the cocaine situation, or at least get any evidence of Louisa on those tapes gone, I believe was the goal. They sent Joey home, but not before having him call Jack after Jack was being a pain for them to figure things out. Victoria, meanwhile, returned to her domain to feed and checked in on her soon-to-be full ghoul as she fed the thug more blood and started investigating his apartment, trying to piece together what was going on. Victoria eventually found out that this thug was a fledgling hunter trying to join a bigger hunter cell, led by someone named Frank. This left Victoria with questions she wanted answers for, so she tried to find Estelle. Meanwhile, Estelle met up, and Louisa met up with Jack and Arthur to try and get directions on how to get these videos, deciding that they should go towards the police. Jack dropped a name named Hank that they could use, and the group decided to go with that. Louise and Estelle were forced to wait for Hank while Victoria came and tried to convince Estelle to check out this Eldrick situation. Estelle showed no interest and was quite flummoxed most of the night and angry with people. However, once Victoria was sent off, Victoria warned that she would not be available the next night. This left the others to talk to the police. They eventually met Hank, a Malkavian, who did have the video evidence of Louise committing atrocities and intended to use it for blackmail later, but with the current situation of Masquerade, he began to debate. Estelle, not missing a beat, dominated him, having him hand over the phone for a split second before they deleted everything and moved on quietly. Hank came out of it enraged, but controlled his beast, but not before affecting the minds of Louise and Estelle in ways they did not quite notice. Meanwhile, Jack and Arthur made their way to Toronto General in hopes of deleting any evidence connected to that cocaine situation and the destruction of the van. They found their way into security through some manipulations. However, as Jack checked for the files, they were already deleted, leaving him to encounter a very confusing moment. The Malkavian elder of the city, Jonathan Weiss, came across him and explained to Jack that this was his domain and was very confused when Jack was there. As Jack tried to explain, Jonathan seemed distant. But Jack did slip out. Arthur and Jack decided to return home, hopefully waiting to hear from the jackal. Joey, meanwhile, returned to his apartment, badly injured and a walking breach. He was encountered by Hank, who wanted to know why the prince did not just simply kill Joey for his transgressions. Joey claimed not to know. Later, Joey was visited by another adventurer in hopes to Isabella was brought there to bring him to Thomas. Thomas was calling in a minor favor and gave Joey an envelope to guard and to deliver the prince in 1 week if he did not hear again from Thomas not to. With that, Joey promised to carry this out and pay back his boon. Everyone returned to their respective havens and domains, still losing that 4:30 to 5:30 for some reason. And as the night left, that was the end. So, with that, we'll pick up next time, the next night. That night will be a quick kind of downtime night, and I will explain that when we get there. Hope everyone has a great couple weeks. Good work all, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.